My name is Shane Doherty and I'm here to tell you 10 easy things that you can do to make sure you get the results you deserve in the Cambridge B2 speaking exam. Let's go. For the first part, the examiners expect you and your partner to be a little nervous. Don't worry if you make mistakes. If you make any small mistakes in part 1, but later in the exam, you show the examiners that you can use that grammar point, then you won't lose marks. This is Cambridge's positive marking system. Part 1 is all about you. It's the things you do, what you like to read, where you like to travel, what you study, if you work, your job, and where you live. Practice these topics. Practice speaking about them so they feel natural when you talk. Don't prepare speeches. The Cambridge examiners will probably detect if you've memorized something and are just saying it from your memory. So please don't do this, you will lose marks. The examiner will read the question once, give you the 2 photos, and then repeat the question while you look at the photos. But that doesn't mean that you need to start answering the question immediately. Take some moments, organize your thoughts, and when you're ready, start to speak. You've got 1 minute, and it's very normal that the examiner will interrupt you to say thank you very much when the minute is finished. Don't feel that you need to end before the minute or you'll be penalized when the examiner cuts you off. That's not the case. It's very normal and expected to happen. Part 2 is not about describing the pictures. If you did the Cambridge B1 PET exam, it does have a picture part where you need to describe the pictures, but in B2 it's different. The pictures are there to illustrate the question, so it's important to answer that. Also, you can use the language of speculation and the modals to give your language that boost, to show and prove to the examiners that you can use this grammar. So take advantage of that. While your partner is answering the photos question, you can prepare your answer, and here's how. The question the examiner is going to ask you after your partner is always about your preferences regarding the content of the photos. So you can prepare this and expect it. Here's an example. These are taken from Cambridge's website and it's a very good resource, and I'll put the link in the description. Imagine that this is your question. This would be your partner's question. And imagine this was your partner's question. Well, this would be your question. It's always about your preferences or your opinions about the content of your partner's photo. In part 3, the biggest mistake that candidates make is not listening and referencing what the partner has said. If you avoid this, your marks will definitely go up. Here are some examples. Imagine your partner says this. While this is a good answer, this is a great answer. And I will give you those extra points. It's quite possible that you've got a lot of things running through your mind and you miss or misunderstand what the examiner has asked you. Please ask him to repeat. The reason is, in the Cambridge exams, each part is assessing a different skill. So in the speaking exams, the examiners cannot mark you down for your listening skills. The only thing you'll do is possibly waste some time, but if you don't understand the question, you'll probably lose more marks by not answering it correctly. Part 3 is not a competition between you and your partner. It's a collaborative task. If you both work together and build on each other's ideas, you'll both win. For example, if your partner says something about one of the ideas on the diagram and you agree with it, instead of saying, "I agree," just say, "I think that's a fantastic idea, and also, what about blah blah blah," and continue the idea. You'll earn points for having listened to your partner and extended their idea. Here are some other words you can use to contrast and to build on each other's ideas. In a typical exam room on exam day, there are 4 people in the room. 2 candidates, an interlocutor, an examiner, and an assessor, who's also an examiner. The interlocutor's job is to speak and listen, but they won't take notes. The assessor will take notes. After the exam is over, the 2 Cambridge examiners will speak together for a couple of minutes and decide what result to give both candidates. Sometimes there are 3 candidates, but it's not typical. You will have 3 minutes to talk about the 5 different things on the diagram. You don't need to spend an equal amount of time on each of them, but you must make sure before the 3 minutes that you've together at least referenced all of them. Then the examiner will give you 1 further minute and give you a different question, but it's quite similar, to answer and decide. Here is an example. All of the examples that you will see in this video are taken from Cambridge's website. The link is in the description. But if you want some more examples of speaking exams, we have lots on our platform and you should check those out. Part 4 starts directly after Part 3. There's no break, and often students that I have sent to the exam don't realize when Part 3 has finished and Part 4 has started, because the examiner will just start asking questions related to the same topic, and sometimes open questions to both candidates. If the examiner has noticed that maybe one candidate has spoken more, or he or she is sure of that candidate's grammar level or vocabulary level, he may direct his questions to the other candidate to give them more opportunities to speak and balance things out. The important thing to remember in Part 4 is to continue listening and referencing your partner while at the same time showing your own opinions and feelings. But you can't lie. There's no rule to say that you can't invent an opinion or pretend that you're someone, a friend of yours with different opinions, if you see an opportunity to use advanced grammar and vocabulary. Part 4 lasts for approximately 4 minutes, and it's all about your opinions about different topics. What the examiner is looking for is that you can use extended lengths of English and not short form. So you're expected to back up what your opinion is by talking about anecdotes, things that have happened in your life, or your reasons behind having those opinions, while at the same time listening and referring to your partner and showing that you can use grammar and vocabulary at an advanced level. One final piece of advice is this: smile. Even though you're stressed and you're nervous, if you give the feeling that you're very robotic, your intonation will suffer. It will be difficult for the examiner in front of you, the interlocutor, and the assessor to keep track of what you're saying if you don't have that good intonation. Even though you don't feel happy, smile and try to, for 5 or 10 minutes, get into that relaxed place as if you're speaking with your teacher in a good mood. With these tips, we hope you have a successful speaking exam and you get the mark that you deserve. Thanks for watching.
you.